10 million note worth just $7. This is collapse. In most parts of the world, such a figure would represent a life-changing fortune. In Iran, however, this newly issued currency note is worth a staggering $7. This 10 million Rial note is the largest in the nation's history, a grim milestone for an economy that is currently in a state of terminal freefall. To understand the scale of this collapse, we only need to look back a short time. In early 2026, the government released a 5 million Rial note, which at the time was valued at roughly $3. Today, the currency is devaluing so rapidly that the government can no longer keep up with its own expenses. With depleted reserves and mounting debts, the Iranian leadership has resorted to the most dangerous economic survival tactic, the unchecked printing of money. While it is tempting to blame this catastrophe solely on recent military conflicts, the roots of this crisis run much deeper. The economic rot began long before the first missiles were fired. Months before the outbreak of war, the streets of Iran were already filled with protesters. What began as a strike by shopkeepers quickly evolved into a nationwide uprising. The catalyst was simple. The currency crisis had made basic survival impossible. While official state reports claimed a few thousand casualties during these protests, international observers suggest the death toll was significantly higher, perhaps reaching 30,000. This civil unrest was the preamble to a much larger disaster. As the internal stability of the country fractured, external pressures intensified. Following the protests, a series of military engagements with Israel and the United States pushed the nation over the edge. The resulting chaos allowed systemic corruption to flourish, further hollowing out the economy. To put the current exchange rate into perspective, consider the regional comparison. 100,000 Pakistani rupees would translate into an astronomical 500 million Iranian reals. This is the textbook definition of hyperinflation. Economically, hyperinflation is defined as a period where a currency loses more than 50% of its value in a single month. When this happens, the public loses all faith in the national legal tender. In Iran, the rial has become a hot potato. Citizens refuse to hold it for more than a few hours. The moment a worker receives their salary, they rush to the markets to convert that paper into anything of tangible value. They buy groceries, hardware, or stable foreign currencies like the US dollar or the Chinese yuan. This behavior creates a frantic, high-velocity market. Because people know their money will be worth 20% less by tomorrow morning, they spend it instantly. This constant circulation of devalued cash only serves to drive prices higher, creating a feedback loop of economic despair. If you walk through the streets of Tehran today, you will see endless queues at ATM machines. Banks struggle to replenish the cash as quickly as the public withdraws it, leading to a climate of total social and financial distrust. The external factors are equally crippling. Aggressive international sanctions, led by the United States, have effectively quarantined Iran from the global marketplace. The nation sits upon some of the world's largest petroleum reserves, yet it is forbidden from selling its oil at market prices. Instead, the country is forced to rely on smuggling and black market deals, which yield only a fraction of the potential revenue. Without the ability to trade openly, the government cannot collect the tax revenue necessary to function. The most damning evidence of this collapse is the massive flight of capital. In 2024, approximately $20 billion were moved out of Iran by citizens seeking safety for their wealth. By 2025, that number doubled to $40 billion. When the wealth of a nation leaves its borders, the domestic economy loses its engine. With no investment, no trade, and no stable currency, the government is left with no choice but to keep the printing presses running. Every new note that rolls off the press further dilutes the value of the last, ensuring that the cycle of poverty and inflation continues its downward spiral.